And also, apparently, this is the first time I'm hosting a women entrepreneur on Koi Nahi Baat Batao.
Oh, nobody knew, nobody had seen anything like that. And I think my first validation came when
Would also bring exclusivity for the souvenir. So I think that would again add into a consumer intent or consumer satisfaction of buying that product.
single, like if you single, the love that you have for yourself, or it's friendship, platonic relationship, situationship, and everything has a name and everything needs to be celebrated in whatever way they exist.
Hi Supriya, how are you?
Hi, Dhruv. I'm good. How are you?
All good, all good. I'm very excited for today's conversation. And also, apparently, this is the first time I'm hosting a women entrepreneur on Koi Nahi Baat Batao.
Oh,
So it's a big deal for me also. I feel a
how come?
little sense of pride.
Okay. But how come all these days you did not get a woman entrepreneur on?
I don't know. So for a big part of time, I was interviewing my college friends. So yes, I have
Ah,
interviewed women and women influencers, but not a woman entrepreneur as such.
got it. Okay, I'm happy and excited to be the first one here.
Yes, definitely, and I'm looking forward to it. To start with, if you would just like to give a brief introduction about what Leafy Affair is.
All right, so Leafy Affair is a D2C brand. We do botanical jewelry, botanical keepsakes. We also have stationery. What we do is we preserve real botanicals, be it flowers, leaves, seeds, and we, design them into gorgeous jewelry pieces that, you can wear. So you keep nature close to your heart. This is first of a kind in India. We started back in 2016 and it's been 10 years now. This June, like in a month, it's going to be 10 years.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
And also, I must say, this product is actually one of a kind. I ordered it for a few of my friends, and the day it arrived, even I was shocked that something this beautiful can actually be gifted in a economy where you just look for something that is big but cheap.
Right. True, true, true. So, what do I say? I first, when I bumped into this idea of botanical jewelry or nature jewelry, because in 2016, I first started with terrarium jewelry. Terrariums are totally different. You know about these plant terrariums, right?
Yes,
So I
yes,
used to
yes.
create these miniature formats of it where it's a small, tiny bottle, cork bottle with preserved moss inside, some pebbles. It looks like a tiny garden that you're wearing around your neck. And first, when I came across the idea, I was so mesmerized. Like, I was like, amazing, I want this. And that's when I understood that this does not exist in India. And all the pictures that I was seeing, or all the websites or pages that I was seeing, was all from UK and like other countries. And that's where it started. And obviously, in the initial times, I tested it because I wanted to take this seriously and sell it. And
Right.
I sent a few pictures to my friends, and they were like, yeah, but what is this? Or there was a lot of nobody knew, nobody had seen anything like that. And I think my first validation came when I started going to flea markets, and people would stop, people would like look twice, they would smile, and then they would go, they would interact with me. Whether they bought it or not, they were so happy to just see it. So yeah, even now, if someone's coming across Leafy Affair for the first time, they're seeing the pictures or they're seeing the product or they're seeing anything about us, our page or whatever, they'll be like, wow, this exists. So I'm very happy that, that's the feeling that Leafy Affair gives. So thank you.
It is one of a kind. It gives you a wow moment when you first look at it. But
Yeah.
again, I'll go back to the 2022 Shark Tank episode when all the sharks directly or indirectly said that this idea is kind of copyable,
Yeah.
right? So 2 or 3 years down the line, do you think they were right?
See, especially when we started first, when I started in 2016, not one other person, like maybe one or two other people, but it was very different still. Like what I was doing, no one else was doing it.
Right.
And especially after my Shark Tank episode aired, there are like lots of artists doing the same thing. But what I'm trying to say is the concept is copyable and the concept is copied. It is kind of like some designs are mass produced or like a lot of people selling the same things. But so is, for example, you cannot limit the concept. What I mean is, in jewelry, there are so many types of jewelry, right? Like there's terracotta, there is metal, there is beads, and all of this. The concept exists, yes, and so many stores or so many websites sell similar concepts, but it all comes down to the design, right? Like the
Hmm.
designs of how the flower or how that concept is created. Because what we do at Leafy Affair now is highly intentional jewelry with lots of meaning, and we do a lot of research about each botanical and tie it together with charms and bring out a whole concept where that means so much more than just a piece of good looking jewelry.
It
So,
also comes with a note, I think, right? Which tells
yes,
about the flower, which flower is
yes.
it, and where is it found? What does it mean? What does it signify?
Correct, correct. Absolutely. That storytelling is something that has differentiated us from every other jewelry brand, directly competing with us or indirectly competing with us. And in the beginning, we did not do these product cards, like in the beginning, we didn't really print what it means. We just put it in the product descriptions. We thought that was enough. But then lately, I make sure to design a product card for each different collection. Make sure there are like so many SKUs, like at least 200 SKUs. For all our latest launches and releases, we make sure there is a card, and it just makes everything so much more intentional and meaningful because people are mostly using our products to gift. And when you're gifting, it's always nice to say a story and then say like, hey, I chose this for you because of this. And it makes even the receiver feel so good that, oh my god, this flower means something and they could relate me with it, and like they're giving it to me because they intend to give me some good vibes or they want me to be happy. It's like a great feeling.
Is it right to say that the brand storytelling that you're talking about, that is what differentiates Leafy Affair and could be considered its moat?
Yes, definitely. That is one of our moats. I think we have quite a few moats here. So the first thing is we have the first mover advantage. And also, I think I have an unfair advantage being a founder, me, because I am really passionate about nature. So in my studies also, I have a little bit of bio background, but I have this weird synergy of art and bio, and I look at things very differently. The way I come up with the concepts, and recently we had this collection called the Witchcraft Collection, and the whole concept and storyline, the naming, the way it is written, the way it is designed. I think that's my unfair advantage as a founder because I have an eye for details, and plus the passion for for nature and the research bit, because it takes a lot of research for you to understand what means what and then to connect with something else. For example, the Wishcraft collection that I'm talking about, it doesn't just have a botanical. The botanical that is in the pieces are dandelion seeds. However, along with it, it has tarot charms and also another additional charm to mean what it means. And there is something for manifestation, there is something for nazar, there is something for like career, there's something if you're going through changes in life, like major change in life, it's almost as if you're taking a rebirth. Then for that phase, there's something called as a rebirth talisman necklace, and something for love, something for passion. So it is just 7 different pieces, but it has covered so many different aspects of life that someone must be going through. And the dandelions help in carrying energies because dandelions do carry them. Like you must know how we kind of blow dandelion seeds and
Yes,
make
yes, yes,
wishes,
yes.
because
Yes.
they're believed to carry that energy out to the universe and make it happen, right? So I wanted to kind of mix the dandelion seeds with more meaning. The tarot charms, like, it's believed even tarot cards carry energy. And then along with it, another charm to kind of match with each of the concept. I forgot your question.
The question was about the moat, but yeah, you can
Right.
please go ahead. You were in the element.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it's the way we look at things. It's the way I see things, and then making sure that I am showing it in the same way to the people, whoever is visiting our website or whoever is interacting with us. That is highly important. I feel that is kind of our moat. Plus, as I said, first mover advantage. Also, doing something artistic at scale. It's a very challenging and a very niche space that not a lot of people have cracked, which I think we have. So that has also been really helpful for us.
Today, the landscape has changed a lot. I first ordered Leafy Affair in, I think, 2022 or 2023.
Okay.
Since then, the landscape has changed a lot. I see on Instagram there are a lot of people doing resin art. On
Hmm.
Etsy, on Meesho, you can find such products. You can spot such
Yeah,
products,
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
right? So back in 2022, you mentioned that it was a 16,000 crore market where your market size of botanical jewelry is around 10%. Do you see this change, this shift in adoption of resin art and the sorts of artistic endeavors that you are also involved in as a company? Do you
Hmm.
see this as a growth in the market, or do you see this as noise?
See, the thing is, when I first started, I had to do a lot of customer awareness, education. But right now, it helps me that there are a lot of other artists doing this because it's nowhere like, I mean, if I meet someone, I don't have to explain them from the scratch what this is. They already know, right? And people
Mhm.
who like nature, they're already looking for something. And the minute they kind of bump into Leafy Affair or they see our website, they can clearly see the difference. They can clearly see the difference in designs, in the quality, in the kind of the way we portray things, the storytelling, even the page, the trust. I mean, if they just Google Leafy Affair, they're going to see all of this. This noise has actually helped me. So that's what I would say. Even though it's
Uh,
noise, it has helped me grow.
but on the other hand, if you see a 300 rupee botanical jewelry charm on Meesho, does it hurt,
Yeah.
or does it hurt as a business?
Actually, very honestly, it has been the way I look at competition has evolved so much.
Mm-hmm.
Once you won't believe, on Amazon, I found a daisy necklace where they have used literally our picture and it was for 200 rupees. I was
Okay.
like, okay, let me order it. And I ordered it, didn't even take my order. I was like, if it's 200, I can make more profits. As in, I wanted to buy it and I wanted to check it, but the order didn't even happen. It did not go through. So that happened. Anyway, coming back to your question about competition, competition exists, yeah. Like it exists everywhere. Even big designers like Sabyasachi gets copied, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think the way I look at it has become really different now. What I do is the minute I feel like people are keeping up with me or they're copying the design, I'm just working on my next collection. I am not cribbing about, oh God, these people are just copying no matter what I do, because I know I can come up with so many new things and I'm really excited for all the things that I can bring. And after a while, it just becomes a pattern and people will know, right? Like if people who like this type of jewelry, they're kind of following you, they're seeing your work and they're also seeing so many other people's work. How long will someone just keep copying what you do? After that, it's just like people who probably don't want to shell out too much money are going for that. That's fine. That's not our customers anyway. So for the customers who are looking for us, who are looking for this kind of quality or this kind of customer service, they'll always return to us. So that's what matters.
And after all, there's always a brand that is getting copied, right? You see, every brand, it has a copy
Mm.
available in the market. So that
Yeah.
also validates your idea of that you are the original ones and there are copies available.
Yeah, yeah. To be very honest, the collections that I've been launching since December, I have really upped my game, and the reason is my competition. Because if
Okay.
it that did not exist, I don't think I would have thought of so many different things. And even now, I recently launched something. It's called as Florigates. It has a crystal, and inside that flowers. Even if I want, I cannot make the same exact design again because they're like so unique. The concept is same, but each piece that you see in my store, even with me, there are no two quantities of the same design. They're all single pieces. So I'm coming up with so many things like that, and I think I'm also trying to make it hard for the competition by sharing the entirety of my journey of how I'm doing the collection, or what is the kind of blocks that I faced or the failures before I launched this collection. Everything I'm sharing out there. So, and including so many little details that if those little details are again replicated, people just easily know it that, the OG was Leafy Affair. I think it has helped me in a way to make better stuff.
So I was recently going through the Leafy Affair website after so long, because last time I ordered was in 24, I think. I was going through, so I went through the new collection as well. But then I saw clear segregation between two different types of products, one being jewelry as a category and
Hmm.
one being lifestyle as a category, if you must say. That included home decor, that included stationery, but the SKUs were limited over there. Jewelry
Hmm.
was the
Hmm.
major part
Hmm.
of it. If I have to put it this way, how do you see Leafy Affair at the moment? So,
Hmm.
what is Leafy Affair for you? As I have segregated it into two different categories, how do you categorize it? This is a hard question, but if we remove jewelry as a category from Leafy Affair itself, then do
Okay.
you think that the business is sustainable?
But why would we remove?
This is just a question.
Oh, okay, got it. It will be sustainable. But I think as a business, suddenly if someone says no, you cannot sell any jewelry anymore from tomorrow, maybe for some period it's going to be hard because we do not have multiple SKUs in the, home decor segment. But we do not have multiple SKUs not because it is hard to produce or not because it's hard to design, but because our brand grew into this brand that is serving a certain type of customer who wants like artistic nature things at a certain price point. I mean, it's these customers, right? So maybe we'll face some difficulty a few months, but then we're gonna build on it, I guess, because our products, I'm pretty sure, like I'm super confident about our designs and storytelling. So, in fact, I have got like a lot of requests in custom orders for home decor where people are like, hey, I want this flower, I want like a tabletop, can you do it? But the thing is, that takes a lot more effort, and to the kind of quality that we give in our jewelry, to give the same quality in home decor, it's going to cost a lot more. So, but then I do know such a market exists where, for their house, they do not think twice. They just want art. They want very high quality stuff and they don't mind paying. So I guess we will grow into that. So it is still definitely sustainable. Yeah.
Okay, so you overall see it as a lifestyle brand.
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
You're open to growing it.
I'm open to growing it. To be honest, now it's been like 2, 3 years since Shark Tank, and so much has changed as a founder how I look at the brand itself. Before it was a botanical jewelry brand, it was just a nature jewelry or a nature lifestyle brand. Now I see it more like an intentional jewelry brand. If you see just the jewelry market also out there,
Mm-hmm.
be it Palmonas, be it like so many brands are there, right? Like Viva, so many. Everything is more design oriented. There is no single brand that exists out there which is an intentional jewelry brand. By that, what I mean is so many times you don't wear jewelry just because it looks good. Maybe it's a little hard for men to understand this, but I'm sure women will relate to this. Sometimes, especially me, for example, I'm traveling, I pick up something, it's just a stone with a thread or like a shell, and calls to me, or it makes me feel something. It makes me feel lucky, or it makes me feel pretty. It makes me feel something. And so many times, jewelry is not about matching it with your outfits, but matching it with your mood. And when you do that, you carry off anything that you're wearing so well that even if it's a random t-shirt you're wearing and you're just wearing like a nice necklace with it, it kind of goes. You don't have to think, oh, will this match? Will this gold match with this white color? You don't have to think so much. And there is like a big gap there. And I think slowly now Leafy Affair is moving towards that, where we're serving that, saying this, like this talisman, this pendant, or this flower, it means something. I wear sunflower very often. It makes me feel so bright and it makes me feel like how a sunflower is, like very joyous and bright and happy. So yeah, I think that's the space I want to grow in. I know I've spoken about being a lifestyle brand before or botanical jewelry brand. I want to be intentional jewelry brand, which we're already doing. So I'm very happy about that.
I don't know about men, but for me, that is with shoes. So if my mom is
Ah,
watching, then please understand what jewelry is to you, then that is shoes for me.
right. So you're saying you wear your shoes based on your mood. It
Yes,
makes
yes.
you feel
And
something.
if I have 10 pair of shoes lined up in my wardrobe, then it doesn't mean that I need to wear all of them in a particular time frame, right? So there are shoes which I don't really wear much, but I just want them. I'll
Hmm.
wear it sometime. I'll wear it with some outfit. Wear it when I feel this way, or I'll wear
Hmm.
it where I'll go here. And any which ways, I think the generation that is evolving, they are very identity driven,
Yes,
and also they want to portray that who they are. They don't want to be the conventional society way. They want to
yes,
show that this is my individuality out there.
absolutely. And gone are the days of even gold jewelry, honestly.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, and gone are the days of like, okay, picking up. Yeah, you do pick up stuff because they're pretty, but that's a whole different segment. Picking up something because it makes you feel something
Thank you for
is
that.
again, yeah, very different. For example, I was at Sikkim recently and there was this very cute store and I picked up this, it's just a simple gold chain with a very bright red gold bead. It looks like a cherry, but it's not a cherry, it's just a stone. I felt so good picking that up. I'm also the person just because I own a jewelry brand. It's not like I only wear Leafy Affair. There's so many beautiful stuff out there. I experiment with all of them. And I love wearing that piece. And in fact, it took me a long time to convince the store owner to keep Leafy Affair pieces. It took me months. I convinced them and it's there and it's doing really well. But what I'm trying to say is it's the vibe and I picked that up, right? Like with every travel, I feel that whenever I'm traveling, I always pick up some piece of necklace or something, and it's so much more than just okay, it is that color, but it reminds me of the memory or it reminds me of the person I was with, things like that.
So that's a beautiful thing. But talking about the D2C jewelry space, India overall raised 870 crores in this particular segment last year. In
Right.
2024-25, in fact.
Yeah.
Now, if we talk about Jiva alone, they have raised more than $133 million dollars, and today they are sitting at 523 crores of revenue. There are Palmonas, there's Melora, there are different brands, right? When you see such a huge chunk of capital pouring in into this particular segment, when you watch that kind of capital pouring as the broader jewelry segment, how do you see Leafy Affair placing themselves into this market? And also, are you up for raising funds? Have you raised funds before? Tell us about that some.
See, I've always been a bootstrap brand. I see, not just like you spoke about all these brands like Palmona's, Jiva, and the number of crores of money that has been raised as capital. I see that like just a D2C rat race where it's just about marketing. You burn, you scale. There's no real sense of profits or are you making an impact or like what this means to you. I am a very different kind of founder who is not running behind profits. That is very different about me. I mean, even Shark Tank, it's kind of like you go there to raise capital, right? It's not like you just go to show what you do. But my intention was to like get in and it can help with my marketing. So I did not come back sad at all because that episode helped me reach so many more audiences. Now how it makes me feel is that I'm not in that race, so it does not make me feel anything because what I want to do is I want to create beautiful pieces that is intentional and that has something and that has some real value. And I do want to make profit, but I do not have big dreams of I want to become a unicorn. I want to become like a like million crore. Like, I do not have such goals. Of course, it needs to keep sustaining itself, make sure it pays my team and me, myself well. But that's about it. Like, I want to be able to create a lot more. So, yeah, I guess it doesn't make me feel anything because I do not see myself running in the same track as those brands are.
Okay, makes sense. If I talk
I
about
think,
Shark Tank,
yeah, sorry. Is this hard to hear from a founder who's saying, no, I don't have big goals like that? Like, because I think most founders are like that. And I think this is very unconventional. But I, I have become so comfortable in that. The joy it gives me in creating or sharing this and so the joy I get in seeing people receive it well, like the new collections when I'm launching something and then people receive it with so much love, and it's like a bullseye. They're like, wow, this is amazing, this is something I would wear, things like that. That makes me happy. It's not really the numbers, I would say, because end of the day, I think those just create stress and pressure. So
I think the nature of space that you operate in, I think your philosophy is more relevant, because if you are profit driven in this particular space that is more artistic and wants to give people some meaning, want to serve with intention, then in that case, if you are number driven, then I don't think you would be core to the business.
yeah, I don't think for Leafy Affair those two can exist in the same space. But having said that, I'm proud to say, even though we're like a handmade jewelry brand and with so much art and intention, we operate at a certain scale, which is not like a small artist or like a hobbyist brand. That makes me happy to say that we do operate at a certain scale, but I'm not looking to like, madly scale.
But also, there's this one difference that I see after Shark Tank, or in fact, even before that, after COVID, I would say. I'll just give you a context that why am I saying this? So
Mm-hmm.
I entered my college first year in 2020. So I was
Okay.
the first one to first year, and second year went into COVID, and my college was in Mumbai. So
Hmm.
going from a small city called Ratlam to a city of dreams that is Mumbai, you see a lot of things changing. And with the change of us from a small town to a big city, you also witness people recovering from a pandemic.
Hmm.
And that way things have changed a lot. People have started valuing themselves, their loved ones, their time a lot.
Hmm.
So you would see travel has increased a lot. Tourism as an industry is booming. With this, I've also seen gifting as a segment booming a lot,
Hmm.
because I was a part of that economy or not, and then I became a part of it later. But this
Hmm.
is what I feel, that Valentine's Day, anniversaries, gender neutral gifting, corporate gifting, all of this has panned out into a much layered version to themselves. You're somewhere sitting in that place, right? You're somewhere
Yeah.
selling your products there. What is your go-to market whenever you launch a new SKU? Do you think of it as a good gift, or do you think of it as a good product for someone who is buying it for themselves?
Huh,
How do you see it?
that's actually a tricky thing, even when I'm like making, designing something and I'm writing a copy for like what it means and everything. So how you write it really affects how someone's buying it, right? Because when you say it's for a gift for this kind of a person, like narrow it down so much, then even if someone
Hmm.
wants to buy it for themselves, they'll like think, okay, but this is for that person. Like, let me see what is there for myself. I kind of try to, like, whatever collection I do, I kind of go to a layer more like deeper, like as in I go deeper down and I make the collections for the meaning. So you associate that meaning whether with like another person or for yourself or a friend or a girlfriend or anybody or like even a mentor, it still should make sense. So that's kind of the angle that I go into. But some collections are very specifically like Valentine's Day collections are it's about the celebration of love. And again, I try to make it very inclusive for all kinds of love that exists, right? Like because I think these days Valentine's Day is not just limited to the romantic, intimate kind of relationship that you have with the opposite gender. There are so many different kinds of love. And there are people, I mean, single, like if you're single, the love that you have for yourself, or it's friendship, platonic relationship, situationship, and everything has a name and everything needs to be celebrated in whatever way they exist. I think I keep it very occasion specific also, and I kind of elaborate it for the different phases of life or things that people are feeling or what do they want this piece to make them feel themselves or others so that it helps them gift or wear it for themselves.
Well, again, if we talk about gifting as a category, quick commerce has entered or is
Yeah.
playing a big role here, because most
Yeah.
of the gifts that I these days give are from quick commerce. I just order it right before going to the event and then just hand over the gift that I bought for them. So,
Hmm.
do you see that as a good channel that you would like to enter from the perspective of distribution?
To be very honest, I would, but there are, as a bootstrapped brand And as a brand which is not operating in like a really large scale, there are a lot of challenges operationally. Their cash flows, like the returns and exchanges, or how many days later that money comes in, all of that just never made sense for a brand like Leafy Affair for me. So as a result, we never hopped on the bus of quick commerce yet. But hopefully that becomes better. It becomes more easier for anybody to operate, in the quick commerce space, just like it is for e-commerce. Then maybe yes, definitely it's a great channel. But again, I think I've been very conscious of how I operate, be it even the team size, like automate what is possible, but also not automate so much that your brand doesn't feel like you anymore. So these are the kind of things.
So we were talking about quick commerce. Acha, do you do retail as well?
Yeah, I kind of do retail collaborations, retail partnerships, where select stores we do like a consignment basis, where they make the sales and they take a commission, and then we get the revenues.
Tell me more about it. How do you go about what is your retail strategy like? Do you have your own
So
stores or not?
I do have Leafy Affair has one store in Bangalore. It's our own store, and it is right next to our office. It's in JP Nagar. Other than that, we also do consignments with other stores, and this is a very again unconventional way of going about it, because it's not like those specific retail stores or like big chains like Shopper Stop and all of that. We kind of collaborate with boutique stores, multi-branded stores, something like a Go Native, for example. I'm not sure if you've heard of this cafe. It has a very beautiful store, a lot of homegrown brands, and a lot to do with, eco-conscious and nature-friendly, things like that. And their curation is also really good. It kind of really matches with what we do at Leafy Affair. So stores like that. So I was saying, we collaborate with very niche kind of multi-branded stores. These are boutique stores, something like a Go Native, where they have like a lot of homegrown brands, and they curate. They're very particular about the curation that comes into their store. And these stores, they have a style or an aesthetic of their own. So whichever matches with ours, then we kind of collaborate with them. And
Mm-hmm.
we started just a few months back, actually. I wish I started it much earlier. I also feel like there is a good market for us in tourist spaces, where you're traveling and you're looking for souvenirs, and it's great if you can pick up something, a nature element from that place, like if it's the hills, something with ferns or whatever you've seen, right? So that's something that we're working on.
Are you planning SKUs for places, for specific places?
Yes. So that is in the pipeline. That's not something I'm doing right now, because I wanted to first test the waters, honestly. And then I want to, so as I said, Sikkim, right?
Yeah.
Sikkim, I was speaking about this store, and they have a lot of orchids there, and rhododendrons. These are like quite difficult to source, some of them, but I am kind of working something for those spaces. But I will not be limiting it to sell only there. It is going to be also available on our store, but these are created keeping certain places in mind.
Actually, this as an idea sounds really good because we're used to those same old souvenirs, right? Postcards, fridge
Yeah,
magnets.
fridge magnets. Yeah.
Because if this comes into play, then me personally, I would love to get a Leafy Affair product from that place. And also, it's on you to decide, but I would suggest that keeping it local from the place that it is from,
Mm.
keeping it just local as distribution and not doing D2C for it would also bring exclusivity for the souvenir. So I think that would again add into a consumer intent or consumer satisfaction of
I
buying
know.
that product.
See, as a founder, as I said, I'm not the one behind numbers, but also I will need to make logical decisions, right? Like something like this, where I'm keeping it purely local, it kind
Yeah.
of limits a lot of things, and it puts a financial strain on the production and the operations and everything. So, but then if I am saying, like, even on the website of that place, or the story of that botanical belonging to that place, but still available, that way,
Yes.
yeah, but I get it. I think purely associating one particular flower, one particular botanical or a product to that place makes sense. Yeah, something to think about for sure.
Yes. So as we're talking about operations now, so let's just dive deeper into that particular question only. In the
Mhm.
Shark Tank, you mentioned that you are sourcing things from different parts of the world, and then how does the operation looks
Mhm.
like? Can you take us through your supply chain for once?
So, see, I design it in house, and our manufacture takes place in China because there are
Okay.
like a couple of factories that we are associated with, and they do all the customizations for us, like the kind of quality, the kind of flowers. So we've also associated with like different vendors for flowers. So it's all like interconnected. That's how we operate at the production level.
Don't you think this is a big bottleneck in building a brand in India specifically?
There are a lot of brands who do their manufacturing in China, right? So, I mean, bigger brands, much, much bigger. Like even Apple manufactures some of its like parts in China, right? So I think it's not really a bottleneck if you figure out your supply chain, like or your logistics and planning and everything. It is not a bottleneck.
But when you're working with art, is it fine when you
Yeah,
outsource your
so
manufacturing?
so I'll tell you how it works and where it is a challenge for me.
Hmm.
Probably if you have your manufacturer in like India, then you plan for a collection that you want to launch in June, couple of months before, right? That's what you do. But when it comes to us, like because our manufacturer is in China and all this sampling and back and forth and then multiple trials or changing something, tweaking, it takes a longer time. So I need to pre-plan things much, much, much ahead. So
Hmm.
that is the one thing. But I think once you get into the role of it, like once you get into the rhythm of it, it is just fine. I mean, you're just working on something much, much earlier, but it works out just fine. See, if
Yeah.
someone's just starting now and then their
Yeah.
manufacturers in China, I think if they want to do it at a scale in the initial time itself, as soon as they start, they're going to go crazy figuring all this out because each, even in China or in India, each manufacturer, it's different. Each person's timeline is different. And having said that, I have come across some other products ka manufacturers in India who just keep delaying things. At least with my Chinese co-partners, I don't face that. They're very punctual and like if there's a
Disciplined.
timeline that is agreed on, I
Yeah.
will get to see those things on that timeline, maybe 1 or 2 days, but there's always communication, there is reasoning, there is logic, and there's like a lot more of accountability, which I feel kind of lags with certain other manufacturers. So I would say no matter where you manufacture, there is going to be advantages, disadvantages. It's about how you're going to figure out a way to work with whatever is there.
And when we talk about your Shark Tank journey, you said that it was at that point in time you had 12% of repeat rate.
Oh, we've increased our repeat rate actually. It is
Yeah.
close to 30% now, and because we're doing a lot more retention marketing activities, lot more community driven activities. I mean, we usually used to do a lot of online sales and do flea markets, but
Mm-hmm.
last couple of years or 2 to 3 years, we've been doing our clearance sales at our warehouse or office space. And we
Okay.
would every time it surprises how many people actually come down to our space to pick up things, to talk and interact. And it's not like a flea market where they don't have time or they've come there for like a music show or they've come there to shop from every other stall. They have come specifically to visit us and to pick up something because they really love our brand. And these are all people, it's not like they're always liking and commenting on our page, but these are people who are just silently observing their here, and they always like, I love those 2 3 days because as a founder I get to talk to all of them. They're so happy, we take pictures, and that just shows, right? So yeah, and yeah, we have put efforts on our retention marketing and it has worked.
I
I
think,
think,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, please go ahead.
I was saying, like, for gifting, the standard for retention is also not too high because, like, a soap, for example, you need one every month. You will buy it, food, you will
Yes.
buy it. But gifts is not really a thing that you keep buying often, right? You need an opportunity, you need like a situation for it to buy. But I think there are people, whenever they want to gift anything to anyone, they think of Leafy Affair. So our job is done.
Right. And I think your product is the hero over here, because even if I was in Bangalore and you would do a clearance sale, I would come. The product, in fact, in general, just makes you feel something. And
Yes,
when that is communicated to the consumer, then I think it's a part of brand building. And I really feel that these days brands are not really building brands, they're building marketing, right?
correct.
They're just spending on marketing, they're getting sales, and they're completely working on the ROI circle. But brands are
I
built
see.
different. If we talk
Yeah,
about Nike, if we talk about Apple, you feel something about it. And I think
correct.
Leafy Affair has done a fantabulous job while also building a brand and building a company altogether in the space which is very new to India.
So I think these days also the number of people wanting to build brands have increased like 100 folds, right? Every
Hmm.
other person wants to get into the D2C space. Every other person wants to become an entrepreneur. I mean, those are all very good intentions. But what is somewhere there is like a large gap that is being created is anyone who wants to do all of these things, they are fully discounting the product itself, and the product needs to be the king for you to start anything that you want, because without that then it just becomes like a game that you're playing. That's why you see so many brands, especially of this demi-fine anti-tarnish jewelry, and you'll find almost the same design, and they're all kind of fighting for better rates. That's all. That's the only advantage they're able to give as their brand, where maybe the same piece they are giving it at a more discount, like a 20% or 30% discount. But that's not how brands are built. I think anyone who is wanting to start something new, they should just take one step back. Even if it's jewelry, it's fine. Even if it's demi-fine, it's fine. Even if it's clothes that already exist out there, like these Indian prints and all, it's fine. But how can you be different? Maybe you make, like, there has to be a USP for your product, like a kind
Correct.
of niche, a kind of theme, something that you will also religiously follow. That is not something that can keep changing every now and then.
What I think is, with while building brand, there comes a lot of tough decisions on your door.
Hmm.
Because definitely, if you're not willing to build a brand and just willing to sell a product, you have various ways open. I see it as a board of chess,
Hmm.
right? If you are just trying to attack, you see a lot of moves. But when you come towards defense, when you see internally,
Hmm.
yes, I also want to build something over here as a brand. You must be in the positions of taking very difficult decisions. So,
Yeah,
can
yeah, yeah.
you tell us some difficult decisions that you have taken throughout your journey?
Yeah, and some of these difficult decisions for others on the outside, it feels difficult, but for me, it just came naturally. I'll tell you why. One of it is not being on marketplace. We're not there
Yeah.
like on Amazon, Myntra, any of these big, big marketplaces, right? This was a conscious decision, and in the beginning itself, as a first step for any brand out there, would be to get on Blinkit, get on Amazon. That is their first step. But I didn't even have the luxury of that back in 2016, because this was such a new product. No one even knows about it. Why would they go and even look for it on Amazon? Like, they need to search for it, right?
Yeah,
So
makes
I
sense.
had this hard job of kind of educating the customer about what this product is and what it means or what it has inside. And I became so used to just being one point of sale, that is our website, or when we go to flea markets. And I am very comfortable even today. Like, a lot of people sometimes they just ask me, why are you not there? Why are you not here? And I think it's fine for us. So many times I even call my abandoned cart customers once in a while just to kind of check. And as a founder, when you're calling, also it feels good for them. And they tell me, yeah, because I did not see you guys on Amazon, and I have bought from some Instagram brands before and I got cheated. And then I
Yeah.
tell them, no, no, so this is me, like I run this, and then I probably share like a couple of things from our Instagram, and then show, no, no, we're real. So, and after talking to me, they also feel good. This is like an actual conversation that happened with a customer. So I guess it does affect, like, people trust things only if it is on Amazon, Myntra, Nykaa. But trying to build that trust from scratch just for your website, leafyaffair.com, it is hard. So that is one hard decision. In the initial times, to be very honest, I have got, even after Shark Tank, So many people have messaged me even on LinkedIn. Investors, they're just interested and they're like, if I want small seed fund, angel fund, people were interested, but I never went that route because somewhere I knew that what I want out of this brand or how I want to grow this is never going to be investor friendly. In fact, recently just yesterday, I posted a reel saying if we had an investor, this collection wouldn't have happened. I was talking about the fluorogates, where I said I told you about single pieces.
Yes,
Each
yes,
piece
yes.
is one quantity. I mean, those are things you will never do if you're running an actual business where you only think about numbers because it does not make sense. There's going to be a lot of wastage, there's going to be higher costs, higher efforts in just selling one. But let's say if I made 150 pieces of one single design, I just have to post it once, I just have to do one photo, and then I run ads on that. People are just going to come there and buy. So that is again another thing. And but honestly, I've never had regrets, I would say. So investments have been like that is one decision, hard decision. Keeping it low, like we've always crawled in our pace. Even though when competitors are there, like they're copying your stuff and all, we just like it's fine. We will go at our pace. We will bring new stuff, and our customers know us. And also, that is the beauty of being an old brand. Old, I mean, I know we're just 10 years old, but it says something, right? You've been here for 10 years.
Yeah, you've showed
So
up.
that also, yeah, like that, exactly. And that helps people also trust the brand or yeah, and every other friend of mine, whenever I meet them after a while, they'll be like, "Hey, I met this person, and they were like so happy that I'm your friend. They know Leafy Affair already."
Mm.
So I think a lot more people know about Leafy Affair these days. It's just maybe they have not bought or whatever, but they're hearing it from their friends or from people, or they're getting gifted. So that means something. So yeah,
I have also noticed recently that you've been creating a lot of content on your personal page, right?
right.
That's her moonshot. I'll attach
Yeah.
a screenshot over here, and I'll also link the Instagram link in the bio. Tell me more about it. Do you think creating Leafy Affair? So this is 9 years after Leafy Affair has existed.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you think this is a need of the hour, or do you do it out of passion, or do you just want to share your journey in a raw
Sure.
format?
There's actually a story behind this.
Yeah, tell me.
I mean, as you said, it's been 10 years. Is it need of the hour? It started as need of the hour because you see every other founder doing this, and only if you do this, things are like really helping, right? Like you need to be the face of the brand, but you need to also share like what is happening behind the brand, and that became so
Yes.
important. So, to be very honest, I figured the name her moonshot because it was really close to me. A moonshot is where you actually reach for the moon, and it's her moonshot because uh, women empowerment and women reaching their ambitions and all are like really close to my heart. 2 to 3 years is back is when I figured this name. Ever
Mm-hmm.
since then, I have opened the page. Did I post? No. Because every time, because it came from the need of the hour, I would look at these other founders doing it, and then I would think, okay, I'm supposed to do this. This is the kind of hook I'm supposed to kind of see, put in my story. But it just never worked. It became so stressful. It became so like forced. And then only since the past 3 to 4 months, I put a stop to it and I said, I'm going to be raw. I am not like other founders. I will not talk like aggressive numbers. I am also not that kind of a founder who will post a day in my life of founder life and who
Mm-hmm.
goes and gets matcha or coffee from a coffee shop and then it's all like really aesthetic. It is not like that. And I told myself, I'm going to sit with myself and during the day, if I get a thought, doesn't matter what it is, what it is. I'm going to keep it original and just post that. And when I started doing that, I got a lot of different ideas and I was able to, execute them. Right now, there's only roughly about 250 followers, but every person there has followed me because they are learning something from me or they find me inspiring. That makes me so happy. I mean, having 103, 102K followers in Leafy Affair versus being happy with even 250 followers in my personal branding page is something like I'm finding a new way there. I've always also enjoyed teaching and kind of helping businesses. So maybe that's something I want to do on the side as well. I have a lot of other women also calling me sometimes for mentorship. I do guest lectures at IMB as well with the startup cell, NSR cell. So these are the things that I'm enjoying, and yeah, there's no bigger joy than you help someone and then see them succeed. So that's what Hormone Shot is about.
Not to mention, but I am that one inspired follower, one of those inspired
See,
followers.
I mean, and a podcast came out of this. Like, so
Yes,
much
yes,
can happen from even that one follower from 250. So amazing.
yes, yes. And honestly, the kind of content that you've been posting, I do follow a lot of founders because I am an MBA, and this is just my thing. I love talking about business, and that is why
Hmm.
Koi Nahi Baat Batao exists. But
Hmm.
your page is a lot different than what I see out there, and I think that your philosophy behind it is serving the purpose.
Yeah, yeah,
It does
yeah.
look different.
I really believe in giving value. I mean, if you're not giving value, then it is like a big thing for me. Even if I take money from someone, you know, there is this one thing. I am not really allowed to see a lot of customer support messages, mails, and all.
Uh-huh.
My husband is not really a part of Leafy Affair, but he takes care of that because, and also my team very strictly takes care of that because even there are people who will say, I bought this 2 years back, but the color faded, and I'll be ready to give them a replacement. So, I mean, those are not things that you do, right? Like, so,
Right,
and
right,
then
right.
we negotiated a lot within the team and then said, okay, these are the different times. Even now, we have this thing, even doesn't matter when you bought it from us. Something is not right. If you come to our store, we will give you a replacement. But you have to come to our store.
Okay.
It's not an online thing, but so yeah, this is the kind of depth of, I mean, giving value which I believe on. So,
Lovely, lovely. So, coming towards the end of the episode, we don't have much time, so I'll just quickly wrap it up. Just a final
yeah.
question, and this time I won't ask you about business. So, there's
Hmm.
this saying, nature never rushes, but yet everything gets done. You as a brand, and in fact, also you as a person, you're very closely related to nature. You have a sense of belonging towards it. So while building Leafy Affair, and also let's not talk about just these 9 years, 10 years. Let's talk about the entire journey that you have lived till date.
Hmm.
What
Yeah.
has nature taught you as a learning that you keep with yourself every day? Not a
Hmm.
business one, not necessarily a business one. It can be a business one as well, but not necessarily a business one. It can be a personal one as well.
I think it's more of like for me, the journey personally, whether it's with Leafy Affair, without Leafy Affair, even though like I'm 34 now, right? Like, and I still have so many new things I'm learning about myself every day. And more than that, it's the acceptance of maybe an older version of you and the newer version of you. And let me put it this way. So I'm just collecting my thoughts. I think I've always lived with a lot of different kinds of influences and conditioning. But as a person, what do you really like or how do you want to live? Like it forces me to look within myself. How you accept yourself. Like, fine, you didn't do, it's okay, chill. You would say that to your friend, but you wouldn't say that to yourself, right?
And that also shows in your brand.
Okay, I'm glad it comes out. Yeah.
Hello, folks. This was Supriya, the founder of Leafy Affair. And genuinely, what a conversation it was. I hope you got to learn a lot about the D2C market, jewelry market, branding, founder mindset, and many more things. And if you did, then our job is done. But yeah, if you have any feedback for us, then tell us in the comment section below and we'll try to implement on it gradually. Moreover, if you have any questions for Supriya, then you can also tell us in the comment section below. I'll try to get an answer for those questions in some way or the other. Thank you so much for sticking till the end. All I have to say is always remember to stay curious, keep learning, and peace out.